Okay, go ahead.
My name is Jean Russell Miller Rich, called Rusty. I was in Ethiopia from 62 to 64, which was the first group in the country. We doubled the population of the We doubled the teaching population in the country, and were welcomed by Haile Selassie, who had a big celebration at the palace and greeted each one of us. And actually, because my school was in Diradawa and was named for his son, Prince Makonnen, he came and visited our school to dedicate it, and he was in my classroom for one whole period, which was very scary. When Kennedy was assassinated, I felt that the emperor represented the Peace Corps in the country as well, because he went to Washington and marched next to General de Gaulle. Anything else you want?
Hi, my name is Don Harris. I served with my wife Elaine in Addis, just outside of Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, from 1966 to 1968. We were in a little town called Kotabe, which is about 10 or 15 miles outside of Addis, and today it's actually part of Addis. We taught English. My wife was taught English literature, and I taught English grammar. One quick anecdote: I was the basketball coach at the school. And I can remember we played one away game, and all the time we were there, and we took the kids into the city, and the other team was there, and there was not a referee. And so the other team didn't know what to do. There was no referee. There were hundreds of people surrounding the court waiting for the game. And finally, one of the kids from the other team said, "Why don't I?" They asked me if I would ref. I said, "Fine." So I reffed the game, and the team I coached won. It was a very good team despite my coaching, and our team won on a shot in the last second of the game. And as the game ended, the entire crowd of maybe 300 or 400 people by that point surrounded the court and came toward the court. And I thought this might be the end, but all of a sudden the crowd separated, and a boy walked from the back of the crowd with a Coca-Cola, which he handed to us for winning the game. So I thought that was an amazing incident. It was a wonderful country and a wonderful experience for my wife and myself.
Was your husband?
Yeah. Don, come over here for a second. He was.
Hold on, both of you.
Yeah, come on with me. I'm going to try to remember some of the people and what they became after we taught them. The educated without, okay.
Well, think about that dinner we had.
Yeah, who's in, you think of those people.
Okay, so when he talks,
Yeah, put it over. I will. I will.
Yeah. Okay. You begin with your name and go ahead.
Sure. My name is Elaine Harris.
Don Harris.
And we were both in the Peace Corps in Ethiopia from 1966 to 1968. And we taught English at Haile Selassie First Secondary School.
In Kotabe.
In Kotabe, right outside of Addis Ababa. And I guess what I, would like to emphasize is we went back 3 years ago and reunited with some of the students that we had taught. And also we've kept in touch with some of the students that we taught. And what's so repetitive is their appreciation for what the Peace Corps did in terms of their education. And I'd like to highlight a couple of those people. One is Dr. Yigaremu Aspau. He's a doctor and in Ethiopia, never left Ethiopia. He built 2 hospitals, a women's hospital and a general hospital, a medical school, and an orphanage. And he has dedicated his life to the health of the Ethiopians in Addis. There are 4 MRI machines in all of Ethiopia. They're there in his hospitals. And also one of the students, we had 3 students who lived with us while we were there in 66 to 68. One is now Dr. Hailu Eba, who has remained a lifelong friend. He is now an anesthesiologist at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles, and is going back in a few weeks to actually do some operating in the hospitals that Dr. Yigaremu, all of these are our students, has built. And then we reunited with another student who lived with us when we went back to Ethiopia, who has retired and has spent his life as a headmaster of an elementary school. So I think what I'm emphasizing is sometimes the end of your job is what you were able to, how you affected lives. And those are just some examples. Another person we met.
There was a dinner.
Just regular.
There was a dinner that they held for us about 3 years ago. Another one of our students became a famous doctor in Ethiopia. Another one started the first insurance company in Ethiopia. Another one was a translator for high-level Ethiopian officials and became a novelist. And I think we sat around a table at an Ethiopian restaurant and realized that we two were both educators, were the least accomplished probably of anyone at the table. All of our former students had become heavily involved in their society and had done remarkable things within their country.
With their lives. So it's gratifying to us to know these people and to know that we played a part in their lives.
Okay, so first we need your name and where you're from, and then tell us the story.
My name is Samuel Mana. I was born in Eritrea. I went to high school in Ethiopia, and I finished high school in Ethiopia. And after that, I worked for the Peace Corps for 1 year as a Peace Corps staff. And my responsibility was to get housing for the Peace Corps volunteers who were arriving, the new Peace Corps volunteers, and also to be able to visit them on a monthly basis to provide them with all kind of educational material, like stencils and papers and what have you. I was also involved in building a library in the rural area with the Peace Corps volunteers, for the students to be able to get some books so that they'll be able to study. After that, I came to the United States, and I went to the University of California, Los Angeles. I finished my degree. I did my first degree in linguistics, my graduate degree in English as a second language, and an additional master's degree in architecture and urban planning. I taught architecture and urban planning in Brazil, and then I went to Saudi Arabia and I taught ESL and vocational. I did some vocational training in Saudi Arabia with the Air Force, with the Navy, and with the Coast Guard. After that, I joined the UN and I worked as a senior project manager for the UN, but I was assigned to Eritrea for about 4 years. So I was involved in the building of Eritrea, but thanks to the Peace Corps, this is what I was able to achieve.
Name.
Okay, your name, country, year.
Okay, let's stop there. Okay, name, country, year. Okay.
Go ahead.
My name is Virginia Kuhn, but everybody in my program called me Gina, Ginna. I was in Ethiopia from the years 1960, from 64 to 66. I was in a very, very small town up in the mountains between Diradawa and Harar called Detter. I was a middle school teacher, 6th, 7th, and 8th, but I taught English to as a foreign language to grades 1 to 6. I was the librarian. I was the phys ed teacher. Now one more. And it was very, very mountainous. We were up over 10,000 feet, and our school was on the side of a mountain. How's that?